Please put your hands together for Jenn Michelle.
About 5 years ago, at the age of 40, I found myself unexpectedly single for the first time in 14 years. I hadn't been with anyone but my partner since I was 26 years old. So the first thing I did was fuck a bunch of people. I had a threesome, I had a bunch of one-night stands, I had a fling with a friend for 6 months, and then about a year later, I was like, you know what? I'm ready to have a connection. And I was defining connection really simply. You meet someone, you like each other, you go on some dates, you get along, you have fun, and then you fuck. And fucking, I was also defining very simply. Hard cock and wet pussy, a lot of this, you both come, hopefully, and then from this, a relationship will bud. So that's, I think I was still probably in the 26-year-old brain, to be honest. So I went on some first dates, and I didn't really have that connection with anyone. And then I meet this guy, Steve, and he's really nice. And we have the bones of what I think is a connection. We get along, we have chemistry, we have fun. So on the second date, I was like, all right, next step, you know? So I take my hand as we're making out, and I move it down towards his belt line. And I don't know. And he grabs it vigorously and says, no, I want to wait. Well, first of all, I've never had a man do that. If anything, I've had the opposite happen. They're pushing my hand down towards their cock. So I was like, okay. And then in my brain, I was like, wait a second. Okay, either he's really not attracted to me, he has a tiny penis, one testicle, like who the fuck knows, this has never happened. And he said, I just like to wait, you know, I just like to take my time. I said, okay, and I tried to honor that. And a couple weeks go by, I didn't put the hand down below the belt at all. And then I said, you know what? I really need to have sex for us to like see where we're at and to solidify our connection. He said, okay, I have to tell you something. I was like, here it comes. And he said, I have ED. And my brain was like, did he say VD? Like, they don't call it that anymore. Like, what is he talking about? You know? So he said erectile dysfunction, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I thought, wait, I thought that, he was like in his 40s too. I thought that happens to people that are like, first of all, married to the same person for 40 years. Sorry. Or really old, or really unhealthy. So he said, no, it's a thing for me, and it sucks, and it like people don't stick around. You know, it's really hard, pun intended. And I was like, well, it's okay. And he said, well, I have Viagra, and I take it, and sometimes it works. And I didn't hear the sometimes part. In my brain, I was just thinking about all the commercials I had seen. It's $1 billion industry. The stories you hear about 12-hour hard-ons. You know, so I was like, okay, you're gonna fucking take that pill, and we're gonna get this show on the road, you know? And I was like, I'm not that girl. I'm not the girl that's not gonna stick around. I'm gonna see this through. So the next time we get together, we have dinner, we go to his house. He takes the blue pill. I'm really excited. We get naked. He puts himself inside me. He's really hard, and 30 seconds later, he's soft. And I was like, oh shit, this is a real thing. And he was like, I told you, you know, this is a real thing for me. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And I really took it personal. I was like, this is because of me, I think. Like, because this had never happened to me before. And I stuck around for a couple weeks, and then I was totally that girl. I was like, I can't do it. I can't be around unless we're having sex. Like, I need that connection, you know, that's how I was defining connection. And so I moved on, and I was like, that was a fluke. Like, that's never gonna happen again. And it did happen again a few times with different people. And I was like, and I did have some more flings where people were hard, but I was like, okay. I know, surprise. So I was like, what is this, And I actually really started to take it personal. I was like, okay, I'm in my 40s. Are things starting to sag too much? Is things graying too much? Like, maybe guys just want to fuck girls in their 20s. I don't know. And so I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to a bar and pick up a 30-year-old with a really hard cock. I'm going to get super wasted, and he's going to fuck my brains out. Good plan. So I went to the bar, I got super wasted, and I meet Sweet Dan, super cute, in his mid-30s. He comes home with me, and we're making out. I keep touching his cock to make sure it's hard, and it is. And so we get naked, and he puts the condom on, and we start fucking, and 2 minutes later, he's soft. And I was like, what the fuck, Shit. And so I was super drunk. So pretty much I was like, I can't deal with this, and I just passed out. So in the morning, I was like, so that was fun, but hey, that thing that happened? That was whiskey dick, right? And he was like, what? And I was like, you were just super drunk, right? And he was like, no, you were super drunk. And I was like, what? So what was that? Was that me? And he said, no, I like you, and you're cute, and we had a good time, but honestly, I'm going through a divorce, and my heart is broken. And I hadn't been with anyone else but my wife. And it was just difficult for me to do it. And I'm sorry. And I guess I'm not ready. And, when Dan said that, I was like, I'm kind of an asshole because I wasn't thinking about people from like a whole person perspective. And he really softened my heart and opened my eyes to really look at what connection and intimacy really is. And I wasn't like slowing down enough to see that. So that helped. And then I kept dating. Actually, he called me, and I was kind of embarrassed and felt kind of mean and weird. So I never called him back, and I've always regretted it. He was a super sweet guy. And then I moved on, and I kept dating people. And then I meet Charlie, and Charlie is in his mid-50s, and he's really fit and hot and funny. And the very first date, he was like, I'm really attracted to you. And I got to let you know that I've learned about my body. My body has changed, and I don't get hard unless I feel a heart connection with someone. And so I need to take time. And because I was in a better place, I was like, okay, great. So we got to know each other over the course of a month, and we had a lot of fun, and we made out. And then he said, hey, I found this book, and I'm wondering if you would read it with me and do the exercises in it. And it's a book designed for long-term couples to keep their sex life alive in their relationship. And it's like Tantra for Westerners, basically. And so the first things it talks about is the difference between a spontaneous erection and an intentional erection, and how in our culture we're always trying to force erections to happen so we can fuck. And that spontaneous erections happen when you feel safe and happy and loved and connected. And that also pussies, we treat them as these very dynamic parts of our bodies, but really they're receptive, and we tend to go like right for the clit, and we should instead be going for the breast to open up the pussy. So those things like really stood out. I was like, I've been doing everything wrong. Good to know. So then the next thing it talks about, the first exercises we did, was you meditate on your own, and you go into your body, and you think about the times in your life you've been happiest and that you feel really loved and really safe. And then you find in your body where that feeling is inside your body. So it's like a vibration you can find. So he and I did this, and we talked about the book as we were reading it. And, we called each other. I was like, where's your home? And he was like, my heart, no surprise. And he's like, where's yours? And I was like, my pussy, no surprise. Also my base chakra, So then we got together. And what you do is you lay side by side and naked, and you look at each other's eyes, and you breathe for a long time together in unison. And then you each put one hand on your home and one hand on your partner's home. So 2 hands on my pussy, 2 hands on his heart. And we laid together, and we looked at each other for a long time, and we kissed a little bit. And then he had a raging hard cock after that. And we fucked really slowly, and it was really amazing. And that's pretty much how we fucked every time we were together through the course of our relationship. We dated for like 6 months, and we became really good friends. But that experience changed me. First with Dan, it kind of opened my eyes, but then with Charlie, it made me just realize, like, connection is actually being fully aware of where someone's coming from and what experience they've had in life. And that's how I want to be, from now on. And as I continue to date, I've dated people with chronic illnesses, PTSD, depression, and just, variations of things that affect their bodies. And I also have things that affect my body, and I don't like to call it ED anymore because I think dysfunction is a terrible word. I like to call it a fluctuating ability to maintain an erection. I'm 45. I have a fluctuating ability to maintain wetness. That's a real thing for me, and I appreciate patience in myself and my lovers, so I'm no longer that girl. I'm the girl that kind of meets you where you are, because that's what real connection is.